What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us this week. Hey, we have a really special episode featuring Steve Stanford, the legendary automotive designer and illustrator. He's going to walk us through his top 10 designs right here in our studio. This is a special one. Stay with us. Let's get into it.
It's almost like a photograph before the car is even done. I know exactly how this should look in my head, and then I can transfer it to paper. I grew up, I was born in '54, and by the time I was a kid in like the early '60s reading the magazines and stuff, that whole late '50s, early '60s custom car thing, I like it all, hot rods and all that, but I was always drawn to the customs because of my artistic background. Started out as a kid, obviously drawing for myself, and then much later in life I was lucky enough to make a career out of this. And what I try to do is take the thoughts in his head or her head and put them on paper so that everybody is on board about how the project is ultimately supposed to look. Illustrators like myself, that's what we specialize in. This is a favorite of mine. I did a one-man show at the Peterson Museum just before they did the remodel a couple years back, and this was the artwork that I used for the show program and the poster that we had for the event. And it depicts an early '60s scene at the old Harvey's Broiler drive-in restaurant. This would be typical of the type of custom that you would see in the early '60s. There's a nearly new '62 Impala with Larry Watson's custom paint on it and pinstriping, and the wheels are the new style Astro Supreme. They had just come out in the early '60s. It's got just enough little custom changes here and there, but to represent the era. But one of my favorite time periods in hot rodding and customizing. This might be a little more difficult to do, so I have to pull the whole thing out. It's a 1955 Chevy, and it's easier to say that everything on this thing has been modified, rather than just one or two things. Everything from the headlights to the taillights, it's all custom, it's all bespoke, it's all one of a kind. The theme was the General Motors Motoramas that they had in the 50s, where they had all these one-off cars that GM liked to show off. I thought this would be a great addition to the Chevrolet stand from 1955, possible dream car that the factory would have done. That much later in its life, maybe a hot rodder got a hold of the car, or a customizer, and decided to take it a few steps further with the fit and finish and make it his own and add a few other personal touches to it. But it's definitely a one-of-a-kind 55 Chev. It's a 61 Pontiac Catalina the cockpit's been repositioned, the deck lid's been shortened, and the nose has been extended, and it's now a two-seater rather than, it doesn't have a back seat. The reason I drew this because GM designer Harley Earl, who actually started GM's, what they used to call the art and color section back then it became the design portion of General Motors. He had a car that was gifted to him on his retirement in 1960, and they took a former GM dream car and customized it, but it was an Oldsmobile, and I noticed on that Olds it had this side spear that later was used on a 61 Pontiac design. So that gave me the idea to, hey, why don't I just shorten and modify a 61 Catalina, and so I got this result. Concept cars are some of my favorite things to look at and be influenced by. The stuff to me has to make sense, not just to have parts thrown on it just because to make it different. No, it shouldn't just look different, it should look better. 1914 Model T Ford C-Cab with a custom body, and rod builder Dan Woods used to specialize in this kind of look with the cut down bodies and fenderless cars or cut down fenders and all that. And I've always liked Dan Woods' style, and I thought I kind of put my own little spin on it. People always ask me, do people ever build these cars? I say, yeah, all the time. Old BMW coupe, and the tuner crowd is just starting to mess with these things. You know, they're putting airbags onto all the suspension and all that. But I wanted to do this like a 60s custom with the Buick Skylark wire wheels and rectangular city headlights. But other than that, this car pretty much stock, just stock and drop. Because normally they would get, a car like this would get like BBS wheels or any of the tuner type of approach to it. It's like, no, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I like being different. A lot of people say they do, but I like being different. And, oh yeah, let's get ready to upset the Corvette guys. How about that? Now the guys are going to look at that. The Corvette guys are going, wait a minute, what's different about this? Wait a minute. It's got the first gen Corvette body, but with the second gen Corvette front end, you know, with the rotating headlights. And this actually, the idea came from a real car that was constructed a few years back. But I made a few of my own little changes to it, like the way the side molding goes and, you know, things like that. And, but I love the idea of mixing and matching, you know, a different year Corvette and making it work. In the early Chevys, you see, I'm having a lot of GM stuff. With 1960 Impala side molding on the side of OBS Tahoe. Now, went further with the roll pans and, you know, the custom wheels of the knockoffs from the 60 Impala, and I put the 60 Impala grill bar even in the grill work, along with the license pans and the whole 60 Chevy theme. It really worked out well because these trucks have such clean lines to begin with that you can mess with them like that and have a lot of fun. I'll pull this out for the hot rod bunch and the custom car guys. The window and the roof line was influenced by Ken Posey's Finical. He runs Posey's Hot Rod Shop back east, and he did in the late 70s, early 80s. He did a 37 Ford Coupe with this roof line and that side window style that I thought it'd be kind of cool to see that on a 40 Mercury instead. Slightly bigger car, a little more sleek roof line, but minus the skirts that these cars normally get. There've been so many 40 Mercurys that are done in the style of the Barris built Nick Matranga 40 Merc that I thought, well, let's start with a 40 Mercury, but do it a little bit different. And it's also a little more modern in feel, even though it has a lot of traditional touches like the white walls and the early Cadillac sombrero hubcaps. But things are smoothed out, and it's got smoothly running boards and, you know, all that. So it's definitely a look all its own that respects the past and the present and maybe in the future also. This is one that Cadillac never did. The Cadillac Coupe de Ville came out in 1950, and it was a revolutionary body style that was influenced by one of the stylists, I think from the Buick division. The stylist's wife loved that. She always bought convertibles, but she never put the top down because she liked the looks of the roof line with the windows down and all, but she didn't like to muss her hair. This Cadillac is based on that idea when Cadillac finally came out with the 1950 Coupe de Ville using that same roof. But I put this on a 1947 Cadillac to combine the earlier pre-redesigned style that they had. And there's a couple of small touches. Obviously this is a custom, so it's lowered. And I put the trim from the Cadillac 60 Special here on the quarters, you know, with custom skirts, you know, and a custom emblem in the front. It's got, you know, the stock 47 grill. I want it to look like this could have been a Cadillac styling exercise. So there's still enough stock left in it. Yet the custom touches include like shaved door handles and that sort of thing, and minor trim removal. But it's definitely a one-of-a-kind car. It's got, you know, subtle two-tone with the ice green roof and the darker green jade body. But this would have made a nice Coupe de Ville had Cadillac deigned to do so. Actually, as a lowrider bomb. Just finished this Chrysler not too long ago, and the taillights are from a different year Chrysler, but with I always like the grille and front end on these things. They just look custom from the factory. So basically, this is like a stock body Chrysler with just a few custom changes. You know, been shaved, but I put a radical interior in it, and you know, get the molded in lake pipes, and you know, again, that whole custom car era. I put the split bumpers in the front, and just the whole deal. So you can tell I really like custom cars, and I love this era of custom. This is a 1958 Chevy that I did the design work for a while back, and the guy that built this car, he built it for his dad, and his dad had one similar. I mean, he didn't have the wild paint and stuff, but he had a really nice 58 Chevy back when he was younger and that, and he never forgot the car. So his son surprised him by finding a really nice 58 Impala, and you know, unbeknownst to his dad, he had it all fixed up and custom painted. And Pete Santini did the paint work on it, and this. And this was the original drawing of the concept that we had a lot of fun with. He surprised his dad with the actual car, and that's how it came out. So yeah, they do get built. I mean, and this car really wowed a lot of people on the show circuit. And in fact, it was on the cover of a Rod & Custom magazine back in, I want to say, 2014 thereabouts. But it's almost a sacrilege with a 58 Impala and have all the side trim shade, but the paint job, it dictated that. So real fun project. Real fun. I've had a lot of fun drawing cars and designing them and living the life, living the dream, and helping a lot of other people realize their dream too. I mean, it's all fun. I mean, this ain't work, man. This is too much fun to be called work. But I'm glad people like what I do, and I'm happy to show off what I've done. And I hope you get inspired to, even if you don't pick up a wrench, or at least pick up a pencil, but just participate, go out and have fun. It's all good. Thanks.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that one, looking into the mind and creative ability of Steve Stanford and how he translates his concepts to pen and paper. Unlike what's happening today in a lot of design studios, AI and computer generated modeling. So this is somewhat of a lost art. Of course, this one here is my favorite design. This is our project Black Ice El Camino of 1959. Steve drew this one. Go back to episode 13 and 14 and you can see him unveil this in our shop. So join us next week as we continue to build the 59 El Camino for Grand National Roadster Show and SEMA 2025. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. What's up, everybody? Brian from Mackey's Hot Rod Shop with our YouTube channel, Mackey and Machine. We wanted to say thank you guys for subscribing. The numbers are growing way faster than we ever expected. So a quick overview, we're giving away a box of merchandise for every new 1,000 subscribers. We bundle everybody together, we pick one number, and we send out all this merchandise straight to your door. It's just a way to say thank you, so we really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, do so now, because we're continuing our content in a hot rod shop, bicycles, motorcycles, planes, trains, boats, all of it here on Mackie and Machine. We've got a ton of new content for you guys. The best part of all, real quick, is a 1940 Ford giveaway as soon as we hit 50,000 subscribers. What do you have to do? Hit the subscribe button. That's it. We keep track of everything else. Thank you again. We'll see you on the next one.